The autumn air in downtown Asheville carried that crisp bite that made everything feel a little more alive. Streetlights glowed amber along Patton Avenue, reflecting off the wet pavement from an earlier drizzle. Couples strolled past the old brick buildings, laughing, holding hands. Ethan Harper sat on the familiar wooden bench outside the little French bistro he'd chosen for tonight, checking his watch for the third time in 2 minutes. He looked good, better than he felt, anyway. Dark jeans, a soft gray button-down rolled to the elbows, the sleeves revealing the faint tan line from last summer's construction gigs. At 34, he still had the broad shoulders and easy smile that used to turn heads at college parties, but these days that smile took more effort. Tonight, though, it felt almost genuine. Across from him sat Maya Patel, 29, dark hair falling in loose waves, wearing a deep navy sweater that made her brown eyes look even warmer. She'd laughed at his terrible parking joke when he picked her up, and the sound had settled something restless in his chest. This was their third date. The first had been coffee on a Saturday morning. The second, a quick hike up to Craggy Gardens with his 6-year-old daughter Lily tagging along. Maya hadn't minded the tiny third wheel. She'd even braided Lily's hair while Ethan fumbled with a picnic blanket. Tonight was supposed to be just them. No interruptions. No kid emergencies. Just a proper dinner, maybe a walk afterward, and, if he was lucky, a real goodnight kiss instead of the quick hug they'd shared last time. The waiter had just set down their appetizers, warm goat cheese crostini and a small charcuterie board, when Maya's expression changed. She stared at the menu again, then at the prices listed neatly beside each item. Her fingers tightened around the edge of the tablecloth. Ethan noticed the shift immediately. "You okay?" he asked, voice low, leaning in a little. Maya swallowed. She set the menu down carefully, like it might break. Her eyes met his, and for the first time tonight, they looked scared. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Her voice cracked just enough to make his stomach drop. "I can't afford this date." Ethan blinked. The words hung between them like smoke. "What?" "I thought I could," she continued, barely above a breath. "I budgeted for it. I really did. But rent went up last month, and my car needed new brakes, and... God, this is embarrassing." She pressed a hand to her mouth, eyes glistening. "I shouldn't have said yes to this place. I just wanted tonight to be special. For you. For us." She looked away, toward the passing cars, cheeks burning. Ethan could see the shame written all over her, the way her shoulders curled inward, the way she tried to disappear into the bench. He didn't speak right away. He just watched her. Maya worked as a pediatric nurse at Mission Hospital. Long shifts, double overtime when they were short-staffed, still paying off student loans from nursing school. She never complained about it. Never asked for anything. And here she was, on what was supposed to be a nice night out, feeling like she'd failed. Ethan reached across the small table and gently pulled her hand away from her mouth. Her fingers were cold. He held them between both of his. "Hey," he said softly. "Look at me." She did, reluctantly. Tears clung to her lashes but hadn't fallen yet. "First of all," he started, "you're not embarrassing. Not even close. Second, this isn't about the restaurant. Or the menu prices. Or whatever's in my bank account versus yours." He paused, thumb brushing lightly over her knuckles. "I asked you out because I like talking to you. Because you make Lily giggle when she usually clams up around new people. Because the way you hum when you're thinking about something makes me forget how tired I am after a 12-hour day framing houses." He gave a small, crooked smile. "The food. The fancy plates. That's just decoration. We could be eating gas station hot dogs on this bench and I'd still be happy as hell to be here with you." Maya let out a shaky laugh, the sound half sob. "Gas station hot dogs? Best date I ever had was sharing a bag of chips and a Coke on the hood of my truck after Lily's mom left," he admitted. "We don't need anything fancy to make this real." She studied his face, searching for the catch. There wasn't one. The waiter hovered nearby, sensing the moment. Ethan caught his eye and gave a subtle shake of the head. "No rush." "So what do we do?" Maya asked quietly. "I don't want to ruin the night." "You didn't ruin anything." Ethan stood, pulling a few bills from his wallet and setting them on the table for the appetizers they hadn't touched. Then he offered her his hand. "Come on. Where are we going?" "Somewhere better." She took his hand, letting him pull her up. They walked past the bistro windows, past the couple still inside sipping wine, past the string lights that swayed gently in the breeze. Ethan led her 2 blocks down to a quieter side street where a row of food trucks parked every Friday and Saturday night. The smell hit them first: grilled onions, fresh tortillas, smoked brisket. Music drifted from someone's speaker. A few picnic tables sat under portable lights. Ethan glanced at her. "Tacos? Or are you a barbecue person? There's a killer food truck here that does both." Maya's lips curved, slowly at first, then into the real smile he'd been waiting for all night. "Tacos. Definitely tacos." He grinned. "Thought so." They ordered carne asada for him, al pastor for her, extra cilantro on both, then found a spot at the end of a table. No linen napkins. No candlelight. Just paper plates, plastic forks, and the hum of other people's conversations around them. Maya took a bite, closed her eyes for a second, and sighed. "Okay. This is better. Told you." She looked at him over the rim of her soda cup. "You're really okay with this? With me not being able to keep up?" Ethan set his taco down. "Maya, I grew up in a double-wide trailer with a dad who worked 2 jobs and still couldn't pay the electric bill some months. I know what scraping by feels like. And I know what it feels like to think you're not enough because of it." He leaned closer. "You are more than enough. Exactly as you are. Right now." She didn't say anything for a long moment. Just watched him. Then she reached over, brushed a crumb from the corner of his mouth, and left her hand there against his cheek. "Thank you," she whispered. He covered her hand with his. "Any time." The night stretched on, tacos finished, then churros from another truck, then a slow walk back toward the parking garage. Somewhere along the way, their fingers laced together naturally. And when they finally reached her car, Maya didn't settle for a hug. She rose on her toes, slid her arms around his neck, and kissed him, soft at first, then deeper, like she'd been holding it back for weeks. When they pulled apart, both breathing a little harder, she smiled against his lips. "Next time," she said, "I'm picking the place. And it's going to be even cheaper." Ethan laughed quietly. "Deal." He watched her drive away, taillights disappearing around the corner, then stood there under the street lamp for a minute longer, smiling like an idiot. Some nights, the best things happened when plans fell apart. The next morning, Saturday, Ethan woke to the sound of cartoon theme music drifting down the hallway and the unmistakable smell of slightly burnt toast. He rubbed sleep from his eyes and checked his phone. 7:42 a.m. A text from Maya waited on the lock screen, sent at 6:19. "Morning. Still smiling about last night. Also, I owe you churros. Or maybe something better. You free today?" He grinned, thumbs moving before he was fully awake. "Morning. Yeah, still smiling too. Lily has soccer at 10, but we're free after. Want to come over? Nothing fancy, just backyard, maybe pizza later?" The 3 dots danced, then. "I'd love that. I'll bring coffee. And I make a mean chocolate chip cookie. Deal. Deal. Address incoming. See you around noon?" He sent the address and rolled out of bed, already feeling the day shift into something brighter. By the time Maya pulled up in her silver Honda Civic, the house on the quiet cul-de-sac in West Asheville looked almost presentable. Ethan had swept the front porch, hidden the worst of Lily's outdoor toys in the garage, and even run a quick vacuum through the living room. The place wasn't big, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, built in the 70s, but the backyard was the real prize. A decent-sized patch of grass, a wooden swing set he'd built himself 2 summers ago, and a fire pit they used most weekends when the weather cooperated. Lily was waiting at the screen door, nose pressed to the mesh, bouncing on her toes in her favorite purple soccer jersey. When Maya stepped out of the car carrying 2 paper cups and a canvas tote bag, Lily's eyes went wide. "Miss Maya!" she shouted, shoving the door open and running down the steps. "You came." Maya crouched to Lily's level, handing her one of the smaller coffees, hot chocolate with extra whipped cream. "Of course I came. I heard there's a champion soccer player who lives here, and I wanted to meet her." Lily beamed, clutching the cup like it was treasure. "I scored 2 goals last week." Daddy says I'm fast like a cheetah. You are, Ethan said, stepping onto the porch. He wore faded jeans and an old UNC sweatshirt, hair still messy from sleep. His eyes found Maya's over Lily's head. Hey. Hey yourself. She stood, offering him the second cup, black, 2 sugars, just how he liked it. Their fingers brushed when he took it, and the small contact sent warmth straight through him. They spent the afternoon the way Saturdays should be spent when you're trying to figure out if something real is starting. Lily dragged Maya to the swing set first, insisting she push her super high. Maya obliged, laughing every time Lily squealed. Ethan watched from the Adirondack chair he'd dragged into the sun, pretending to read a roofing supply catalog while really just watching the two of them. There was something so easy about the way Maya talked to Lily. No forced baby voice, no awkwardness. She asked real questions. Listened to the answers. When Lily told her about the new girl in her class who didn't have anyone to sit with at lunch, Maya didn't give platitudes. She just said, "That's hard. Maybe tomorrow you could ask if she wants to play tag at recess." Sometimes people just need someone to ask first. Ethan's chest tightened. He remembered being that kid. Remembered the year his mom left and he ate lunch alone for 3 months straight. After swings came sidewalk chalk. They drew an elaborate obstacle course on the driveway, hopscotch, a dragon to slay, a finish line with fireworks. Lily insisted Maya race her. Ethan timed them with his phone. Maya let Lily win, barely, collapsing dramatically at the end and declaring, "You're too fast. I surrender." They moved inside when the October sun dipped behind the ridge and the air turned cool. Ethan ordered 2 large pizzas, 1 pepperoni for Lily, 1 half veggie, half meat lovers for the adults. While they waited, Maya pulled ingredients from her tote. Flour, chocolate chips, brown sugar, a stick of butter she'd softened in the car. "You weren't kidding about the cookies," Ethan said, leaning against the counter. "I never joke about cookies." She tied her hair back with a scrunchie she'd pulled from her wrist. "Want to help? Or are you just going to watch me be impressive?" He pushed off the counter. "I'm pretty good at licking the spoon." She rolled her eyes, smiling. Very mature. They worked side by side, shoulders brushing in the small kitchen. Lily sat at the table coloring a picture of the 3 of them as superheroes. Every few minutes she'd hold it up for approval. Maya oohed and awed at each one. When the cookies went into the oven, the house smelled like heaven. The pizza arrived. They ate on the living room floor using paper plates, watching an old episode of the Great British Bake Off because Lily insisted the tent is cozy. Maya and Ethan sat close enough that their knees touched. Neither moved away. After Lily went to bed, teeth brushed, story read, nightlight on, Maya and Ethan stayed on the couch. The TV was muted now, just soft blue light flickering across their faces. The plate of cookies sat half empty between them. Maya leaned her head back against the cushion. "I had a really good day." "Me too." He turned toward her. "You're good with her. Like, really good. She's easy to be good with. She's honest. And funny." Maya paused. "And she looks at you like you hung the moon." Ethan rubbed the back of his neck. "I try. Some days I feel like I'm barely keeping us above water. Child support from her mom is spotty. The construction season slows in winter. I don't want her to ever feel like she's missing out because I can't provide." Maya reached over and rested her hand on his forearm. "She doesn't feel that way. She feels loved. That's what matters most." He looked down at her hand, then up at her face. "You make it sound simple." "It's not simple. But it's true." Silence settled, comfortable. Outside, a dog barked somewhere down the street. "I'm scared," Maya said quietly. "Of what?" "Of this. Of liking you this much, this fast. Of Lily liking me. Of what happens when life gets messy again, because it always does." Ethan shifted closer. "I'm scared too. I haven't done this since Lily's mom, and that ended pretty ugly. But I look at you, and I think, maybe messy is okay if we're messy together." Maya's eyes searched his. Then she leaned in, slow enough that he could stop her if he wanted. He didn't. The kiss was different from the one in the parking garage. Slower, deeper, less urgent but more certain. When they pulled back, foreheads resting together, Maya whispered, "I'm not running." "Good," he murmured. "Because I'm not either." They stayed like that until the cookies were cold and the house was quiet except for the soft hum of the refrigerator. Outside, the mountains stood dark against the stars, steady and patient. Just like the beginning of something real. November arrived in Asheville like it always did, sudden, cold, and determined to remind everyone that summer was a memory. The leaves had mostly fallen, carpeting the sidewalks in gold and rust, and the Blue Ridge Mountains wore a thin veil of frost each morning. Ethan's work slowed as it always did when the weather turned. Fewer framing jobs, more indoor remodels, and a lot of waiting for the next paycheck. He and Maya had fallen into a rhythm that felt both fragile and solid. Weekday evenings she'd stop by after her shift with takeout Thai or a bag of groceries, help Lily with homework, and stay until Ethan walked her to her car with a long kiss under the porch light. Weekends were theirs, hikes when the trails weren't too icy, movie nights with blankets and popcorn, quiet mornings where Maya made pancakes while Ethan pretended to read the paper and really just watched her move around his kitchen like she belonged there. But real life has a way of testing the seams. It started small. One Tuesday in late November, Maya texted she'd be late, extra patient in the ER after a multi-car pileup on I-40. Ethan understood. He fed Lily spaghetti, read her The Wild Robot for the third time that week, and waited. Maya arrived at 9:17, still in scrubs, hair in a messy bun, eyes heavy. She dropped her bag by the door, kicked off her shoes, and sank onto the couch beside him without a word. Ethan slid an arm around her shoulders. "Rough one." She nodded against his chest. "2 kids. Car seats saved them, but the mom, she didn't make it. I had to tell the dad." He tightened his hold. "I'm sorry." They sat in silence for a while, the only sound the low hum of the refrigerator and the occasional creak of the old house settling. Then Maya spoke, voice small. "I keep thinking, what if that was us? What if something happened to you on a job site? Or to Lily? I don't know how I'd..." She stopped, throat working. Ethan kissed the top of her head. "Hey. We're okay. We're here. I know. I get scared sometimes. And then I feel stupid for being scared because we're not even," she gestured vaguely between them. "Married," he finished gently. She winced. "I didn't mean it like that. I just mean, we're still figuring this out. And I'm already this deep." He pulled back just enough to look at her. "You think I'm not?" She searched his face. "Are you? Every damn day." He rubbed a hand over his jaw. "I think about you when I'm nailing 2x4s at 6 in the morning. I think about what it would look like if you were here every night. If Lily called you something other than Miss Maya. If we stopped pretending this is casual." Maya's breath caught. "Then why haven't we said it?" "Because I'm terrified of screwing it up. Lily's mom left when things got hard. I've spent 6 years making sure Lily never feels abandoned again. The idea of letting someone in that deep, it keeps me up at night." Maya nodded slowly. "I get it. My parents' divorce was ugly. I watched my mom rebuild everything alone. I swore I'd never let myself need anyone that much." She gave a small, sad laugh. "Turns out I'm not very good at keeping promises to myself." They looked at each other for a long beat. Then Ethan said, "I want this to be real. All the way real. I want you to move in when your lease is up in March. I want us to talk about the future like it includes both of us. I want Lily to have you in her life every day, not just the good days." Maya's eyes filled. "You mean that? With everything I've got?" She leaned in and kissed him, slow, certain, tasting faintly of hospital coffee and relief. When they parted, she whispered, "Okay, let's do that. But life rarely lets you ride the high for long." The next weekend, Ethan got a call from his foreman. A big framing job in Hendersonville had come through, but it meant working Saturdays and some Sundays for the next 2 months. Double pay, sure, but it would eat into their time together. He told Maya over dinner that Friday night, casual, like it was no big deal. She set her fork down. "So, you'll be gone most weekends?" "Not gone. Just working. I'll still be home nights. And Lily's got her grandma on Sundays anyway." Maya's jaw tightened. We barely see each other during the week because of my shifts. Now weekends too. It's temporary. Extra money for Christmas, maybe a down payment on a bigger place someday. She looked away, toward the window where the first real snowflakes of the season were drifting past the streetlight. I don't need a bigger place. I need time with you. Ethan felt the first prick of irritation. I'm doing this for us. For Lily. For the future. I know you are. But it feels like the future is always 6 months away. And right now I'm sitting here alone on Saturday nights while you're swinging a hammer in the cold. The words landed harder than she probably meant them to. Ethan pushed his plate back. You think I like it? You think I wouldn't rather be here with you too? I'm busting my ass so we don't have to worry about the next electric bill, or Lily's braces next year, or... I'm not asking you to stop working. I'm asking you to see that I'm here now. And I'm scared that if we keep putting everything off for someday, someday never comes. Silence stretched between them, taut and uncomfortable. Finally Ethan stood, carried his plate to the sink. Maybe we both need some air. Maya didn't argue. She gathered her things quietly, kissed Lily goodnight through the cracked bedroom door, and left without another word. Ethan stood at the kitchen window and watched her taillights disappear down the street. The snow was falling harder now, blanketing everything in quiet white. He felt like he'd just made the worst mistake of his life. The next morning, Lily padded into the kitchen in her fuzzy unicorn pajamas. Where's Miss Maya? She had to go home early, Bug. Lily frowned. Is she mad at us? No, sweetheart. She's just figuring some stuff out. Like grown-ups do sometimes. Lily climbed onto a stool and rested her chin in her hands. You should say sorry. That's what you tell me. Ethan looked at his daughter, wise beyond her 6 years, and felt his throat close up. Yeah, he said quietly. I think you're right. He picked up his phone, opened Maya's contact, and started typing. Can we talk? I was wrong. I'm sorry. Come over when you can. We'll figure it out together. No more waiting for someday. He hit send before he could second-guess it. Then he waited. Outside, the snow kept falling, soft and steady, covering yesterday's mistakes like it believed in second chances. The text came through at 8:14 a.m. on Sunday while Ethan was making coffee and Lily was still asleep. I'm outside. Can I come in? He nearly dropped the mug. He crossed the kitchen in 3 strides, opened the front door, and there she was, Maya, standing on the porch in yesterday's coat, snowflakes caught in her dark hair, cheeks pink from the cold. She looked tired, a little uncertain, but determined. Ethan didn't hesitate. He stepped forward, pulled her into his arms, and held her tight against the doorway like he was afraid she'd vanish again. I'm so sorry, he said into her hair. I was an idiot. I should have listened instead of getting defensive. Maya's arms came around him, fingers curling into the back of his sweatshirt. I'm sorry too. I didn't mean to make it sound like you're not doing enough. You do more than enough. I miss you when you're not here. And I got scared that we were drifting before we even got started. He pulled back just enough to look at her. We're not drifting. Not if I can help it. She gave a small, watery smile. Good. Because I brought reinforcements. She stepped aside to reveal 2 paper grocery bags sitting on the porch steps, already dusted with fresh snow. Hot chocolate, cinnamon rolls from the bakery on Merrimon, and she reached into one bag and pulled out a small box wrapped in silver paper, something for Lily. Ethan took the bags, set them inside the door, then cupped Maya's face with both hands. You didn't have to do all this. I wanted to. And I wanted to be here when she wakes up. Inside, the house was still quiet except for the soft tick of the wall clock. They moved to the living room, shedding coats, kicking off boots. Ethan started a fire in the small wood stove while Maya unpacked the food on the coffee table. The cinnamon rolls smelled like heaven, warm sugar and butter cutting through the crisp morning air. Lily's footsteps came pattering down the hall a few minutes later. She stopped in the doorway, rubbing sleep from her eyes, hair wild around her face. Miss Maya, she whispered, like she wasn't sure she was real. Maya opened her arms. Hey, sweet girl. Lily ran straight into them, burying her face in Maya's sweater. "You came back." "Of course I did." Maya kissed the top of her head. "I missed you too much." Ethan watched from the armchair, throat tight. He didn't say anything, just let the moment be. They spent the morning the way only a snow day can be spent. Pajamas all day, cinnamon rolls for breakfast, hot chocolate with extra marshmallows, and a marathon of Frozen because Lily insisted Elsa understands big feelings. Maya sat between them on the couch, one arm around Lily, the other hand resting on Ethan's thigh. Every so often she'd squeeze, a silent "we're okay." Around noon the snow stopped, leaving the backyard blanketed in perfect white. Lily begged to go out. Ethan dug out the sled from the garage while Maya helped Lily into snow pants and mittens that were already too small. They built a lopsided snowman first, carrot nose, stick arms, one of Ethan's old baseball caps. Lily insisted on giving it a scarf made from an old dish towel. Then came the sledding. The hill behind the house wasn't huge, but it was enough to make Lily shriek with delight every time they went down. Ethan took the first few runs with her on his lap. Then Maya climbed on behind, arms around Lily, and they went together. Slow at first, then faster, laughter trailing behind them like smoke. When they finally trudged back up the hill, cheeks red and noses running, Maya looked at Ethan over Lily's head and mouthed, "I love this." He mouthed back, "I love you." They didn't say it out loud, not yet. But the words hung there between them, warm and waiting. Inside again, they stripped off wet layers, made more hot chocolate, and curled up under blankets. Lily fell asleep first, head on Maya's lap, small hand clutching Maya's sweater. Ethan watched them for a long minute, then reached over and brushed a strand of hair from Maya's face. "I meant what I said last night," he told her quietly. "About moving in. About the future. I don't want to wait until March. I want you here now. As much as you can be." Maya's eyes softened. "My lease isn't up, but I could start bringing things over. A drawer. Some clothes. My favorite mug. Little pieces. Start tonight," he said. "Stay." She looked down at Lily, then back at him. "You sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything." Maya leaned over the sleeping girl and kissed him, soft, lingering, tasting like chocolate and second chances. Later, after Lily was tucked in and the house was quiet, they stood in the kitchen with mugs of decaf, watching the snow fall again through the window above the sink. Ethan set his mug down and turned to her. "I love you, Maya. I should have said it sooner." She smiled, slow and sure. "I love you too. And I'm not going anywhere." He pulled her close, forehead to forehead, breathing her in. Outside, the world was hushed under fresh snow. Inside, everything felt like it was finally falling into place. Not perfect. Not without hard days ahead. But real. And theirs. By late June the following year, the mountains around Asheville had traded their winter whites for deep summer greens. The air smelled of honeysuckle and cut grass, and the days stretched long and lazy. Ethan's construction crew had landed steady work on a new subdivision up in Biltmore Forest. Good money, regular hours, and for the first time in years he wasn't counting every overtime dollar like it might disappear. Maya's schedule had eased too. She'd taken a permanent day shift position in the pediatric ward, which meant more evenings at home and fewer nights coming in exhausted at 2 a.m. The house felt fuller now. Her things had slowly claimed space. Plants on every windowsill, colorful throw pillows on the couch, a small bookshelf in the hallway filled with novels and medical journals side by side with Lily's picture books. They still hadn't officially said the word, engaged, but everyone who mattered already knew. One humid Saturday afternoon, Ethan pulled the truck into the driveway with Lily bouncing in the back seat, a paper bag of fresh peaches from the farmer's market clutched in her lap. "Maya, we got the best ones," Lily called as soon as her feet hit the ground. Maya stepped out onto the porch in cut-off denim shorts and one of Ethan's old t-shirts, hair tied up with a bandana, a glass of iced tea sweating in her hand. She smiled the way she always did when they came home, like the best part of her day had just walked through the gate. "Perfect timing," she said. "I just pulled peach cobbler out of the oven." Inside, the kitchen was warm and fragrant. They ate cobbler straight from the pan with vanilla ice cream melting over the top, spoons clinking against the cast-iron dish. Lily told long, dramatic stories about the ladybug she'd rescued from the truck bed. Ethan watched Maya listen, really listen, with that soft, patient smile that still made his chest ache in the best way. After Lily ran outside to chase fireflies in the fading light, Ethan and Maya stayed at the table, feet tangled under it, the house settling around them. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet pouch. Maya's breath caught when she saw it. "I've been carrying this around for weeks," he admitted, voice low. "Trying to figure out the perfect moment. Then I realized, every moment with you feels perfect. So why wait?" He tipped the pouch into his palm. Inside was a simple gold band with a small, round diamond, nothing flashy, just clean and honest. The kind of ring that looked like it had always belonged on her finger. Maya's eyes filled instantly. "Ethan, I want to marry you," he said. "Not because we need a big ceremony or a piece of paper. I want to marry you because you're already my family. Because when I come home tired and covered in sawdust, you're the first person I want to see. Because Lily calls you Mom half the time now, and neither of us corrects her. Because I love you more every single day, and I don't want to spend another summer without promising you forever." Tears slipped down Maya's cheeks, but she was smiling so wide it hurt. "Yes," she whispered. "1,000 times yes." He slid the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. She'd never know he'd borrowed one of her other rings for a week to get the size right. They kissed across the table, slow and deep, tasting like peaches and summer and promises kept. Lily burst back in through the screen door slamming behind her. "Why are you guys crying?" she asked, eyes huge. Maya laughed, wiping her cheeks. "Happy tears, bug. Daddy just asked me to marry him." Lily squealed and launched herself between them, arms around both their necks. "Does that mean you're gonna be my real mom now?" Maya pulled her close. "I've been your mom in my heart for a long time, sweetheart. Now we're just making it official." That night, after Lily was asleep with dreams of wedding dresses and flower petals, Ethan and Maya sat on the back porch steps. Crickets sang in the dark yard. Fireflies blinked like tiny lanterns. Maya rested her head on his shoulder, admiring the way the diamond caught the porch light. "When do we tell people?" she asked. "Whenever we want. Tomorrow. Next week. Or never. Just us three knowing is enough for now." She turned her face up to his. "I want a small wedding. Backyard. Winter. Just the people who matter. You, me, Lily, a fire pit, and maybe some tacos from the truck." Ethan grinned. "Deal. But I'm making the cobbler." She laughed softly. "You're on." They stayed out there until the air cooled and the stars came out bright over the ridge. No grand plans. No pressure. Just the quiet certainty that the life they'd been building piece by piece was about to get its name. Husband. Wife. Family. Forever starting right here, on a summer night in the mountains, with peaches on the counter and love that had already survived the hard parts. The following December, Asheville looked like a Christmas card someone had left out in the snow too long. Beautiful, a little worn around the edges, and perfect in its imperfection. Ethan's house on the quiet cul-de-sac no longer felt like just his. Maya's lease had ended in March, but she'd started moving in pieces long before that. Her favorite throw blanket on the couch, her nursing textbooks on the shelf beside his construction manuals, her toothbrush next to his in the bathroom cup. By summer, the transition was official. The spare bedroom became hers for the nights she needed quiet after brutal shifts, but most evenings she slept beside him, one leg thrown over his, her breathing steady against his shoulder. They never had a big announcement. No dramatic proposal under the stars. Just a quiet conversation on the back porch one humid July night after Lily had gone to bed. "I don't need a ring to know I want forever with you," Maya had said, fingers tracing the grain of the wooden railing. "But I do want to be your wife. If you'll have me." Ethan had pulled her into his lap, kissed her until they were both breathless, and whispered against her mouth, "I've been yours since the night we ate tacos on a picnic table." They set the date for the following December. Small, simple, just family and the closest friends. The backyard, strung with white lights and warmed by the fire pit. Lily as flower girl, wearing the purple dress she'd picked out herself. Now it was the morning of the wedding, and the house hummed with quiet chaos. Lily burst into the kitchen in her robe, hair in rollers Maya had put in the night before. "Daddy, it's wedding day. Are you nervous?" Ethan, flipping pancakes at the stove, grinned over his shoulder. Only about burning breakfast. Maya appeared behind Lily, already in soft makeup and a cream-colored sweater, hair half up. She wrapped her arms around Ethan from behind, chin on his shoulder. You won't burn them. You never do. He turned his head to kiss her temple. You're supposed to be getting ready with your mom. She's still on the phone with my aunt in California. I needed a minute with my people. She squeezed him once, then let go to pour coffee. Lily climbed onto a stool. When I grow up, I'm gonna have a wedding just like this. But with more unicorns. Maya laughed. Unicorns are non-negotiable. The ceremony started at 4, right as the winter sun dipped behind the ridge and turned the sky pink and gold. 50 folding chairs on the lawn, blankets for the ones who got cold. A simple wooden arch Ethan had built himself, draped in cedar and white roses. A playlist of soft acoustic covers drifting from a Bluetooth speaker. When the music shifted to the instrumental version of Can't Help Falling in Love, everyone stood. Lily walked first, scattering pine cones and rose petals with serious concentration, grinning every time someone whispered how cute she looked. Then Maya. She wore a simple ivory dress, long sleeves, fitted through the waist, flowing skirt that brushed the grass. No veil, just her hair loose with a few tiny flowers tucked behind one ear. She carried no bouquet, only the quiet certainty in her step. Ethan felt the air leave his lungs. She reached him, eyes shining, and took his hands. The officiant, Ethan's old high school friend who'd gotten ordained online just for this, spoke briefly about love that chooses each other every day, through hospital shifts and slow construction seasons, through snow days and hard conversations. Then the vows. Ethan went first. Maya, I was a single dad who thought my story was already written. Then you showed up on a bench outside a restaurant I couldn't afford to impress you with, and everything changed. You love my daughter like she's yours. You love me even when I'm stubborn and tired and convinced I have to carry everything alone. You taught me that home isn't a place, it's the people who stay, even when it's messy. I promise to keep choosing you. Every single day. Through every season. I love you more than I know how to say. Maya's turn. Her voice shook only once. Ethan, I spent years thinking love was something you had to earn by being perfect. Then you looked at me, really looked, and saw the woman underneath all the overtime and student loans and fear. You gave me a family when I didn't know how much I needed one. You make me laugh when I'm exhausted, hold me when the world feels too heavy, and love Lily so fiercely it reminds me every day what real safety looks like. I promise to be your partner. To fight fair. To come home to you, always. I love you, and I'm so grateful this is our story. They exchanged simple gold bands. No flashy diamonds, just the quiet promise of forever. When the officiant said, "You may kiss your wife," the backyard erupted in cheers and whistles. Ethan cupped Maya's face and kissed her like they had all the time in the world. Afterward, they ate barbecue from the same food truck that had saved their third date, danced barefoot on the grass to a playlist full of songs they'd claimed over the past year, and watched Lily run circles around the fire pit with her cousins. Late that night, after everyone had gone and Lily was asleep with her new flower girl crown still on, Ethan and Maya stood on the porch wrapped in one blanket, looking out at the dark mountains. "Mrs. Harper," he murmured, testing it. She smiled against his chest. "I like the sound of that." He kissed her forehead. "Think we did okay?" She looked up at him, eyes reflecting the string lights. "We did more than okay. We built something real." The snow started again, soft, slow flakes drifting down like confetti. Ethan pulled her closer. "Here's to many more winters. Many more summers. Many more everything." Maya rose on her toes and kissed him, slow and deep. "Many more," she whispered. And in the quiet of their little house, with the mountains standing watch and their daughter dreaming down the hall, the story that began with an apology on a park bench became the beginning of a lifetime. Not perfect, but theirs.